Dear class, I hope this video finds you well. Just wanted to touch base after spending some time looking over 16 or 17 of your drafts. So I'm just gonna sort of go through the paper a little bit, give you some tips and some pointers. I might go off beat for a second, but hopefully this is going to be helpful to you. First of all, what I want to emphasize is that use of book terms, in particular chapters 1 through 3, as well as the Gill reading, the Dean and Rowan reading, as well as the Fletcher reading, are imperative. And I'm not asking for quotes or definitions. I need you to insert concepts into your paper that demonstrate that you've read, but also that the concept is applicable to the idea that you're trying to portray. And there are a lot of ideas in the paper that, are definitely synonymous with what are in the readings of the text, but that is critical. And I would say that that's very important to you doing well in this paper. So with that said, let me go through the paper. With regard to the problem, just really want you to not restate the case, but to share your thoughts on what are the possible diagnoses. It is an opportunity for you to sort of insert some of the content from the reading based on the symptoms of the mental health disorder. And so spend a little bit of time on that. It should be heavily cited. So if you're using terms like depression, post-traumatic stress disorders, anxiety, suicidal ideations, then all of that should be cited in terms of the terminology. No definitions are needed. That particular section should probably be about a page. With regard to the next section, and I'm trying to make sure that I stay on point. With regard to the next section, the assessment, Moore and Gamelt provide a lot of different tools for assessment. One, you're going to build off, the anxiety and depression inventory. So what would you do to build off of that? Secondly, in social work, we use a term called the biopsychosocial, assessment. So what does that mean to you? What will you look at? And I want to go off beat for a minute here and say, we're talking about athletes here. And so what I truly want your paper to reflect is some of the content from Dean and Rowan, and as well as your personal knowledge in terms of understanding, the athletic environment, the impact of the athletic environment. Some of you have mentioned potential sexual abuse, and if that's the case, then what happens if it unfolded at the hands of a coach or a trainer or a strength and conditioning coach? So the implications are there. I want you to continually keep your eyes on the notion that the person in the environment, when we talk about student athletes, might be different from some of the other clients that you work with. Off point again, I really want you to, in this particular piece, I really want you to try and use North Carolina State as a model. And by that I mean, if you're talking about the Counseling Center, talk about some of the Counseling Center programs at NC State University. If you're talking about the sports psychology piece in athletics at NC State University, then use names. If there are programs there that are applicable to what you're trying to do, then name those programs. But I highly recommend that you use NC State University as a model so you can add some concrete information to your paper. What would you do as a social worker, as a clinical social worker or a case management social worker? This is the largest piece of your paper. And what I'm really looking for here again is for you to name names, name departments. When I say department, I don't mean one, I mean at least 1 to 3. I don't mean one, I mean at least 2 or 3. And so you might name 4 or 5 things that you want to do. But in terms of providing detailed, step-by-step things that you would do, you might be only able to detail a couple of those. And what I also want you to realize is I'm not looking for you to resolve the problem. I'm not looking for a plan in terms of what a social worker would do to resolve the problem. I'm more so looking at how you would get it started. What resources would you connect them to? What things would you do? Maybe you're going to be an advocate. Maybe you're going to be a liaison. Maybe you're going to be a counselor. Maybe you're going to pursue some type of social justice. Maybe you're going to be a conduit to other systems that are available on campus. And then the last piece of the paper is, what additional information that you need. There's a lot of gaps here in this case study. It was purposely done that way to make you think through it. If I were writing the paper, as the questions came up in the different sections, I would write them in the sections, and then I would transfer that information to the end. Speaking of sections, I really need for you to use your subject headings. Those are important to me. Secondly, you need to make sure that you're using in-text citations correctly and that you have a reference page. Those are important. A lot of folks were sort of sketchy on the in-text citations, but that's something that you can easily Google. And I need your name, your first name, or at least your last name in the case file. It's very helpful to me if you're using book concepts, if you want to bold or italicize those concepts. Again, I do not need you to restate the case study. After reading about 20 of these, I'm pretty familiar with the cases, no definitions, no long quotes. Most of all, think through the paper. Keep it in an athletic context because this is an intro to sports social work class. Keep it in context. And if I can be helpful in any way or you have any questions, feel free to drop me an email. I'll be online until Saturday morning. After that, I'm sorry, but I won't be on email or available electronically over the weekend. I appreciate the opportunity. I had the conference call and video call with everyone this week, and I'm looking forward to the other ones this week. And again, I hope you're having a great experience in this class, and most of all, have an outstanding week. Take care. Bye-bye.